Welcome to this training. Today, we're going to introduce you to quality and continuous improvement areas, activities, and company processes. QCI is the acronym of the name of this area. You will hear it several times during this training. The objective of this course is to learn how our area could help you in your daily activities. Also, you will learn how these activities are part of processes which are aligned with the organization's goals and the way you can learn more about the continuous improvement culture. This presentation is divided into four main parts. First, we will explain how the QCI area works and its responsibilities. Second, we will provide you with information about the Quality Management System QMS, that is a collection of business processes focused on achieving Globant's quality policies and quality objectives. Third, we will present to you the organizational tools that give support to the quality management system. And finally, we will show you Globant Processes site so you can understand its structure and the organization of information in order to facilitate your own exploration. Before finishing, we will show you some shortcuts to all the mentioned information. Let's start talking about what does QCI mean. It means quality and continuous improvement. We strongly believe that you can't manage what you can't control, and you can't control what you don't measure. We take Tom DeMarco words to explain our main objective. So, what do we do? Basically, we define best practices that affect all areas related to the product's creation or services provided by Globant. For this, we work with specialists from other areas of the company. For example, testing gurus, developers, functional analysts, project managers, and responsible of areas such as champions, careers, etc. We help them build and document their processes and then verify if they are properly implemented. What is our strategy? We want to design and implement a model that allows Globant to measure, monitor, and control all the processes within the company in order to continuously improve efficiency and achieve the following goals. Work is tracked against the plan. Plans are adjusted when it is needed. Requirements are clearly defined. Changes are managed. Estimates are way on. Defects are discovered in early stages and the client receives a high-quality product. Success is a result of teamwork and management. Rework is reduced to a minimum. In addition, in Globant we think that if every individual works thoroughly, success will be achieved. No overtime work will be necessary. Finally, repeatability should be unquestionable. The same process must work successfully under the same conditions. Lisandro Dorfman is the manager of QCI area. Internally, there are different sub-areas to identify different subjects and their leaders. The sub-areas are standards related to CMMI and ISO 9001, process frameworks, tools, methodologies, knowledge, consulting, and PMO. Let's talk about the main roles and responsibilities of QCI area. We work closely with the project team from the early stages to establish plans, standards, and procedures that will add value to the customers. We verify adherence of products and activities related to the respective procedures, standards, and requirements. Then, we raise not resolvable issues within the project to upper management for resolution. We also participate in defining and continuously improving development process and staff area processes such as procurement, HR, infra, etc. We ensure that defined processes are compliant with ISO 9001 and CMMI Level 3. Offer integrated services to projects along the company and support to project managers and delivery directors. And finally, we measure customer satisfaction and trigger action plan if it is needed. Let's see how QCI interacts with other areas and people like you. When a project manager is assigned to a project, he must define in PPQA the project tailoring according to the framework of the project. As mentioned, the tailoring involves customized standard practices according to the specific characteristics of the project. After that, the tailoring is sent for approval to the Software Engineering Process Group. It is a group formed by specialists of processes and practices. They make decisions about everything related to processes. They analyze in detail the tailoring, and then, if it is okay, they approve it. If tailoring is not complete or accurate, they iterate with the PM until an approved version is achieved. Throughout the project lifecycle, QCI gives support to Glovers regarding methodologies, processes, tools, templates, etc. We have questions and answer sessions where you can raise any question. Once the tailoring is approved, the project can be audited by QCI to check if everything defined in the tailoring is being conducted with the project team. And finally, QCI gets metrics analyzing client satisfaction surveys and, if it is necessary, collaborates with the team generating action plans to address issues if there's any. Now, let's see how you can suggest improvements. If you identify opportunities for improvement regarding the assets that you're using, or you think that a better practice could be used in your current activities, you can suggest as an improvement. Who can do it? Any Glover may suggest a process or asset improvement. When? Whenever you identify that there is room for improvement. How? Place an issue in JIRA selecting QCI organizational project. It could be a process change request or a JIRA improvement issue. Once you have created the issue, a QCI team member analyzes it and, if approved by the SEPG, proceeds to implement the change. We want to remark that we are now evaluating an improvement which involves unifying both issues in order to have only one improvement issue and avoid mistakes when selecting which issue generate. So it is likely that you currently find only a single issue in JIRA to make suggestions for improvement. QCI defines best practices and standardization according to the recommendations of the gurus and compliance with the rules and processes to which Globant certifies. Glovers use them on a daily basis and can detect improvements to the practices defined. So it is important you can collaborate with the continuous improvement as a main actor. The image you're viewing corresponds to the Quality Management System QMS within Globant's organizational processes site. The Quality Management System describes how the company manages and controls business activities related to quality and what tools are used for its implementation. It is a set of business processes focused on achieving the quality policy and quality objectives. If you follow the link Quality Policies, you will be able to see the detail of them. But before we get into the details of the quality policies, let's see, what are quality policies? Policies are the intentions of the organization and mark a course of action. They are principles that guide us, defined by the top management. Quality policies are generally consistent with the above and aligned with the vision and mission of the company and provide a basis for setting quality objectives. To have a better understanding, let's explain this at a personal level. At some point, you have decided that you would be a system engineer. Then you look for a university course and registered in one which takes 5 years to conclude. After, you know that in order to pass all subjects, you need grades above 7. By tracking your final grades every 4 months, you can monitor if you will be able to obtain the degree in the estimated time, or if you need to do some adjustments in order to do so. In all organizations, quality policies and quality objectives are defined, ensuring that all aspects of each policy have an associated quality objective and a method and tool to measure it. Let's see now the details of the quality policies of the company, which are aligned with the Globant's manifest. Globant is committed to pursue excellence in their service by meeting customers' expectations, promoting best practices and continuous improvement culture, fostering a creative and innovative environment, developing the skills of our professionals, focusing on a sustainable business and sharing that vision, making Globant the best place to work in the industry, ensuring customer privacy policy. The quality policies are relevant for our company to help us keep our goals, for customers to help us meet expectations, and for the Glovers so they can learn and direct their efforts toward Globant's goals and achieve a better performance. In the same way, it is important to know the objectives of the project and its expected values. To identify how you can contribute to improvement from your role, always align with the goals of the project and the company. In order to achieve the quality policies, Globant implements and certifies CMMI model and ISO standards. Company processes are compliant with both of them. CMMI means Capability Maturity Model Integration. It is a model focused on certain type of specific processes. CMMI for development focuses on process improvement to develop and maintain products and services. ISO means International Standard Organization. ISO is an international standard of quality management applicable to any organization in any sector or activity. Globant certifies this standard in a multi-site scheme. The auditors go to different locations and verify our processes. As you can see, ISO and CMMI say what to do. ISO is more generic than CMMI, which is more specific for software development. Now, let's see in more detail the Globant Quality Management System. Let's start with the context of organizational processes that involve different areas to ensure the full satisfaction of the client. As seen in the picture, frame process has three distinct parts. Organizational processes. These processes are performed by the management of the company, are generally long-term or related to the management of the organization. Project processes. These processes are related to the provision of services to the clients. These processes are performed by the project management team and development team once the contract is signed. Internal area process. These processes give support to the project processes. Let's concentrate on the project processes that you're going to use more if you're part of a development team. In this graph, we can see that we always have a pre-sales activity, which clarifies the client's needs and requirements, which are the entry of the project. After signing the contract with the client, projects should be added to Globant internal tools. There are processes for the entire project administration, from its beginning and throughout its life until its closing, which are generally executed by project managers. These are startup process, data update process, and closure process. Once the project is created on the internal tool, team members can be assigned to it. Onboarding process aims to provide each Glover with information about the tools, courses, references, details of the project, the roles, responsibilities, and objectives in the project, among others. Service development should follow the process according to its characteristic and Globant's commitment with the client in the sales stage, as stated in the contract. The processes which should be applied in the project will be determined by the corresponding framework of the project. It is always important to know which the framework of your project is, because the company expects you to follow all the processes belonging to this framework. We also have other processes cross to the realization of the product or service that are measurement and analysis process. It is a guide to design and implement the strategy measurement and analysis of project activities. Decision analysis and resolution process provides the formal analysis of alternatives for decision making. Customer satisfaction process describes the activities to collect and analyze the opinion of our clients regarding our services. We can act in the right direction by knowing what we do best and where there is room for improvement according to expectation of our customers. Regarding the waiver request process, it is important to understand that all processes from the framework of the project and cross processes we have seen are mandatory. If any process or practice defined therein does not apply to the characteristic of the client or project, you can request an exception or waiver by following the steps defined in this process. The exception is granted in cases where the standard process cannot be applied for reasons which are justified. Globant's process frameworks tell us how to do things within the projects that correspond to each framework. As we mentioned, the framework of a project is usually determined from the pre-sale stage, according to what Globant sells to each client, as established in the contract. There are sometimes exceptions where the framework determined by pre-sales is changed during the contract negotiation. Let's review the various existing frameworks at Globant. The main framework is the Agile framework, which is often applied to development projects in which Globant is responsible for the product development from start to finish and has all the project management. Staff augmentation is applicable when the client needs competent people to develop a product or to add to his own development team, and having project management as a client responsibility. In this case, you should follow the processes from Globant's staff augmentation framework that is related to the administrative management of the project and client and Glover satisfaction. And with regard to the methodology, it will be guided by the client's processes. The maintenance framework is used if Globant is hired to perform evolutionary, preventive, and corrective changes in an application that already exists and may have been developed by Globant or third party. Other frameworks usually used for infrastructure project is SLA, which means Service Level Agreements, and implies that it must respect agreements and service levels. This framework is primarily based on the best practice of ITIL, Information Technology Infrastructure Library. Finally, Globant provides consultancy on specific aspects that can range from a proof of concept for a technology to a product prototype to many companies. For projects that are short, less than 700 hours, there is a framework known as the small projects. This applies to any project regardless of its other features, except consulting. Because of their size, the risks are lower and therefore the practice required can be minimized. All processes for each framework are described in detail at the site of processes. You may even find a diagram for selecting the appropriate framework for the project and facilitates the understanding of the main characteristic of each framework. Globant provides tools to facilitate the implementation of all processes just presented. As we see in the presentation, tools can be classified into operational tools. We have Jira as the main project management tool that allows us all management and planning of an agile project. Jira manages the concept of sprints, task board, agile, and Kanban. Divided user stories into tasks, each represented as a card which moves in the task board. Technical tools, several of which are part of the Atlassian suite. Bamboo for continuous integration, Fisheye and Crucible for peer code review, Sonar Cube to analyze the quality of the code, X-Ray for testing management. General management tools. In this group we find Confluence, which is a collaborative wiki that lets you create wiki pages and also act as a repository of documentation, and it is the organizational document repository. CAP is a tool used by PMs for sending satisfaction surveys to customers. PPQA is another tool used by PMs to adjust the process to the reality of the project. Here, the tailoring of the project are recorded and audits and self-assessment are performed. We mentioned the tools separately, but the main advantage of them is that they work integrated. We are not going to go deeper on this. There are training modules in which you can see all the details regarding tools. The use of the tools is mandatory. In case that client or other tools were being used to manage the project and its requirement, PM should apply for a waiver or exception. You have to remember that in all cases, all projects have an instance of Jira and Confluence, and the team must use them. Jira instance is used for risk management, learned lessons, decision analysis and resolution, only for Agile and maintenance framework. The instance of Confluence is mandatory as the document repository, at least for plans, status, reports, and minutes. For Agile and maintenance, it is also used for architecture document and planning baselines. Finally, I would make a special mention regarding Google Docs. Google can only be used as a temporary repository, as Confluence is the organizational document repository. Confluence follows security and backup and recovery policies of the company. Therefore, we should use it for all documentation, for both projects and support areas. If you use Google Docs, as we said, it is only temporary, so documents should be downloaded to Confluence at least once a month. Take into account that you can find everything we have mentioned here at the company processes Google site, qci.globant.com. And as we said before, all the processes definitions are stored in confluence.corp.globant.com/space QCI organizational. In the structure of the site, you can find different pages. We're going to mention some of them. A home page. Here you got the area, email contact address, and direct access to the quality management system. How-to pages that helps you understand how can you help to improve our processes and tools, how to create update close your projects at Jira and tools, how to manage the scope changes, how to monitor and control your project. A news page where you can see all the area news related to changes in processes, templates, and tools. A question and answer page where you can find a schedule available for consultation on the various subjects that are operated from the area. The quality management system page contains child pages for processes frameworks such as Agile, Consultancy, Maintenance, SLA, Small Project, and Staff Augmentation, with their life cycle and the detailed description of each of the practices and a child page templates where all templates are grouped according to the process and practice to which belongs, the same as presented in Space Confluence of each project. The Tools Information page provides useful information for each of the organizational tools: Bamboo, CAP, Confluence, Crucible and Fisheye, Jira, PPQI, SonarQube, and X-Ray. Finally, trainings and guidelines provide presentation, guides, and videos about the trainings that are offered from the area, and you can also find a link that corresponds to the trainings that are offered from People area. If you want to know more about our work or ask us something about this training, we recommend you to participate of our question and answer sessions. Write us to our emails or visit the organizational process site. We will be very pleasant to help you. We hope this training has been very useful for you. Thank you for your time.